So, welcome back for what may well be the last time for today. The light is starting to draw in now. It's been a beautiful day though, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So, friends, I promised you a pub at the end of today's walk. Just a short way to go as we head on down here. We're heading in a northwesterly direction, and you can just see behind me there. There's a bit of mist coming in now as well, which is spoiling the view. But the view that I can see, as I turn slightly, is absolutely stunning. Let me just swing around. Absolutely beautiful up here today. You can just see if I swing around and head up. Here we go. The man in the moon has joined us for the last part of the walk. How beautiful is that? And here we go, my friends. Here's our pub, which sadly is no longer a pub. It's a beautiful house though, isn't it? Isn't that beautiful? The building behind me is now a residential dwelling. I believe they run a tea room from there during the summer months. But the building behind, which used to be the pub, was the Checkers pub. Closed a few years ago apparently. Probably a casualty of the correct ban on drink driving. Just let this car pass. Off they go. So, the Checkers pub, no more, my friends, no more. And as I was previously explaining before that car rudely interrupted the silence, the Checkers pub closed a few years ago. Another casualty of the rightly so applied ban on drink driving. The ban on drink driving put to bed or put to death many of the village pubs and the rural pubs. And it's crazy, isn't it? I think back when I was a young lad, when I was growing up with my elder brother Simon, who's 5 years older than me. My dad would drive with mum in the passenger seat next to him, my brother and I burning our legs on the black plastic passenger seat in the rear. And Dad would drive out to the village pub somewhere in Hertfordshire near Stevenage where we lived, Weston, Walken, various other villages around where I was born and grew up in Stevenage in Hertfordshire. Dad would drive to these rural village pubs that all had a playground, which meant that the kids could stop annoying mum and dad for a while, and mum and dad would have a few bevies on a Sunday lunchtime and maybe a Sunday roast if they were doing that sort of thing. And I have a vivid memory of my childhood, and I'm good at remembering stuff like this. And I remember my dad, he was never a big drinker, but on a Sunday he would probably have 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5 pints of light ale or whatever it was he used to drink, and he would drive us home in the car. And quite often we would meet friends of my mum and dad at the pub, and they would also consume ridiculous amounts of alcohol before climbing back into their Ford Cortinas and Ford Capris. I'm showing my age. Mark 1 and Mark 2 were the models to have when I was growing up. So what I'm saying is that the good old days weren't actually that good, were they? They were pretty reckless when you think about it. Your mum and dad thought it was perfectly acceptable to drive out to a village pub, have a few beers. I think my mum would have a baby sham or 6, and then bundle the kids into the car again and drive them home. And it was never policed, it was never discussed. You never used to get stopped. And then of course the drink driving rules came in, and they set a sensible legal limit on how much alcohol you could consume before driving. And that I guess, put paid to most of the village pubs because it cut them off. You then had to get a taxi, and there was very few bus services to the rural locations where I used to live, so you were very dependent on the car, and my dad would never pay for a taxi because the cost of a taxi was similar to the cost of 2 or 3 pints of pale ale. So you can see why the rural pubs have suffered greatly since the drink driving ban. Let me just show you where I'm going. We're on the final stretch now. That hill which I pointed out earlier, that's where we set off. The road that I'm on, it's a decent road, very busy during the summer months. Groups of motorcyclists roar along here, spoiling the peace and tranquility of the countryside. But it's a mecca for them because it's a roller coaster of a ride. You get to this road by leaving the A19 at Osmotherley, and it goes through Hornby, or the Hornby estate, and eventually, after many big dippers and twists and turns, if you're lucky, you arrive in one piece in the beautiful market town of Helmsley, nestled in the heart or the bosom of the North Yorkshire moors. It's a beautiful time of day, my friends, a beautiful time of day. I hope you've enjoyed today's walk. I have. It's been challenging. I've seen just one other walker while I've been out today, and I've been out for, well, I said it was going to be about 2 hours. I think I've been out for nearly 3 hours now. I'm not quite sure how far or what distance I've covered. I'm not really into that. I'll walk until I've had enough, to be honest. Walk until I get bored, or on this occasion until it gets dark. Let's have a little look. We've got a beautiful sunset. Isn't that beautiful? So, you see behind me there, basically if you keep going that way, you'll end up on the east coast. That is the North Yorkshire moors. We're only on the fringes of the moors. From here I can be in Northallerton or Thirsk in 15-20 minutes respectively. We've got another car coming down as well, so I'm just going to move over and let the car pass. Have a little look, you can see how beautiful it all is. Hi guys. So, it's been a good ramble this afternoon, my friends. Facebook, YouTube, it's been a good ramble. I've enjoyed it. I had to get out today because I haven't been out for a few weeks. I needed to clear my head. I needed to prove to myself that my body still works effectively and efficiently for a 50-something-year-old, 51 actually. I'm quite proud of myself, to be honest, because there's quite a few people I know my age, older, even younger, that wouldn't be able to do this. And I think it's important, particularly when you get to 40, 50 years old, it's important to look after your body. Because as morbid as this may sound, when you get to 50 years old, it's fair to say, if you follow the philosophy of my mother, who passed away at the age of 76, I'm 51. You don't have to be a mathematician to work out that I'm 2/3 of the way through my journey. How does that sit with you, my friends? Does it sit uncomfortable? If it does, I don't hold it against you, but what I do say is, don't sit at home wrapped up in bubble wrap. Don't sit at home afraid of venturing out into the wilderness. Don't be afraid to explore. Don't sit at home thinking about what you might do next, but actually do nothing about it. And that was one of the things that inspired my page, my Facebook page, Life Begins at 50 in 462 Days. The passing of my mother at the age of 76 was what inspired me at the age of 49, coming up 50, to make sure that every single day that I live on this beautiful planet, I get to enjoy it. And you're not going to do that by sitting at home planning the next great adventure that never materializes. Just going to show you guys where I'm going. Look at that, all uphill as well, all uphill to the finish. So please, my friends, if you like my videos, if you like where I'm walking, if you like seeing the places that I get to go when I'm not doing boring stuff, then please share my page, like, my Facebook page, Matt Wells, Life Begins at 50, 462 days. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel of the same name, Life Begins at 50, 462 days. You get to see loads of photos on Facebook. You'll get to see loads of videos on YouTube of me wandering around the countryside, rambling on about what I know and making up some of the stuff I don't know. I try to make these videos enjoyable and insightful. I try to share things, and this is what I'm going to be doing more over the next few weeks as I hopefully record more content for you. I try to share my thoughts on a day-to-day basis with people that have taken the time to check me out and figure out what I'm all about and what I'm doing. So quiet and peaceful up here, look at that. Isn't that just beautiful, my friends? Isn't that just beautiful? So, ahead of me now, I can see about 1/4 of a mile up the road, I can see my car. And that will be the end of today's ramble. So once again, Facebook, YouTube, thank you very much for joining me on today's ramble around Square Corner, Silton Forest, the reservoirs, fringes of Osmotherley. We found a pub that's no longer a pub. We've done some off-piste hiking. We've seen a motocross track. We've seen a footpath that turned into a river. And we then saw a crazy guy that was about to run up it. Fair play to that man. He was older than me. Fair play to that man. So, I'm going to find the best backdrop to leave you all with. I think it's got to be there, hasn't it? So, there we go, my friends. Thank you very much. Take care. And I will see you all very soon, somewhere from around North Yorkshire. I've been Matt. Life Begins at 50, 462 days. If I don't hurry up, I'm going to get run over because there's a car coming down here. So I think we can say that safely today is a wrap. See you later, guys. Take care. Love you all.